Hey lovelies, it's your Swan Creates here, bringing to you a brand new video. So yeah, you see I'm in my little corner, and the thing is I am still burnt out from doing OC OC Toba. I am like so burnt out. I've tried to do a video all week and I just can't make a dal. So instead I'm going to talk about books because I've recently got back into books, and I think since I'm going to talk about books, I should look more Liberianish, right? Right? So let's go. Ooh, I look cute, and but also we should have some books as well, right? Okay, that's better. It's not much, but then you can really, this table is tiny, it can't hold much. So also I'm going to apologize if you hear some noise in the back. That's my fan or my nieces. It's hot. This is hot, okay? I need it, but then I also need to look good because I look good. So I have my prep cup. This is the second cup that I made, and it's holding up. Don't scratch it. If you scratch it, things do come off, but hey. So if you want to remember the vlog I did this in, it'll be up here or there, but anyway, huh? So yes, so again, as I was saying in the beginning, I'm just out of it right now. I'm sketching in my sketchbook, but it's just that the very thought of putting a camera on, like to set up the whole thing, is just giving me stress, and I don't need it right now. So I've decided to do something that I wanted to do for a while, especially after watching Tatiana Vaught's videos and talk about books. Thanks Tatiana for getting me back into books. Yeah. So this books I want to read about. Yeah, it's a trilogy, and it's called The Brown Sisters. Guys, I got so excited when I saw this on, oh, but before I should say in the beginning, thank you Nalis so much for buying the trilogy, the entire trilogy. People from Trinidad and Tobago, you can get the entire series on Nalis online reading center with Overdrive. I use their Libby app. It's really simple. You could go in the library and ask them for it, but all you have to do is go online, download the Libby app or Overdrive on your computer, and then you type in your library, which is Nalis for us here in Trinidad. You have to put in your library card and your password, which is most likely the year that you were born. Or if you're not sure, just ask them, and bingo bango. What the heck is bingo bango? And bingo bango, you get to sign up for free books. I read books, so much books, on my tablet for free, legally. Alright, so with that out, I'm going to speak about the Brown Sisters. So, the Brown Sisters is Chloe Brown, Danny Brown, and Eve Brown. All of them, of course, are black. Yay! I have read so much romance books in my life, and a handful of them star black people in it. Yeah, these are some of my favorite romance books, and all of them are white. Yeah, everybody is white. Even the servants in the book, white. Which is okay, but I'm black. Let me get some black representation, okay? Guys, let me get some black representation. So, on Book Talk over on TikTok, a lot of people were talking about the Brown Sisters series. They said it was steamy. It's kind of steamy. But it's not the steamiest I've ever read, but it's pretty steamy. And when I saw it in my library, I was like, yo, because Nalis got a lot of black-led books in this update they usually had, because I signed up for the free online thing a while ago, but the books wasn't, like, for me, I was like, yeah, I ain't clicking. But since I got back into reading, I went back online and they got so much new. And they even have books from local authors. I read like 3 or 4 about stories that are based in Tobago, Trinidad, and it's just like, it was so fun, and it was actually good. It was really good. So I've been rambling enough. Let's actually get into the series. Now, one thing I like about watching Tatiana Vault with her books is that she actually mostly has the books in her hand. I don't. I just have the ebooks. So I'll have like a cute card at the bottom here showing the book. I'm going to talk about all 3. And I'm going to try not to be spoilers, because it's a romance. We all know they're going to get together, right? We know they're going to get together, but it's how and the journey is how we get it, right? So the first book in the series was Get a Life, Chloe Brown. So Miss Chloe Brown is chronologically ill. Yes, I literally had to look it up on Goodreads to get it right. Chronologically ill. And I can't remember the name of what she has, but it's where she's in constant pain. My God. And the thing is, I love that they wrote a book about this. And it's mainly because you could read about Chloe's her illness and it would just be like the scientific definition. It would be like, it will cause flare-ups in the joints that will have constant pain, and you would read it and I'd be like, if you are not around someone who has that kind of illness, or you don't experience it yourself, you're never going to fully comprehend or fully understand what that means. It's books like this will give you like a day-to-day synopsis of what people go through when they go through this illness. So Chloe, she cannot do extraneous activities. Her doctor said that she could do a certain kind of extraneous activity, but doctor says even good for her. But she can't like hike, she can't climb stuff, she can't do anything that will make her extremely tired, otherwise she'll have a flare up and she'll be in pain. Well, she's always in pain, but she'll be real bad pain, like her daily tolerance of pain will just flare up. And you know, our body have like a thing where we could get used to painkillers. So if we're prescribed 1 dose of painkiller and we use it all the time, then our body won't be, oh, spilling my imaginary tea. Our body will be like used to it. So she has to be careful with using painkillers, otherwise one day she'll be so much pain, and the highest dose of painkillers ever to be prescribed to anyone, it will not work on her. So she has to be very careful about when and how she uses her painkillers. Can you imagine living like that every day? But this book gives us a very nice look into somebody who's chronologically ill, especially the type of illness that Chloe has. So I just went into that because it was just so beautiful that I get to look into that. So Chloe, because she's chronologically ill, I said it properly again, she doesn't do much. She works out from home. She has her own business that she starts up. She doesn't have friends, and her family members, they come over to her. And she had a near life death experience where a car almost crashed into her. I can tell you that because that is literally the first thing you do when you read the book. That's the first thing you read in the book. And Chloe went home, and she laid on the ground because she was like, her life flashed before her eyes, and it was not her life. She didn't like what she saw. It was mostly her inside being scared of everything. So she made a list, and that is how Get a Life Chloe Brown was born. So she made a list of things that she wants to do before she dies, and the main thing that she wants to do is be independent and live by herself, live on her own. Because of her chronological illness, she's been living at her family's home, and it's nice, but when you're an adult and you have other adults who raised you around, it drives you crazy. Especially when you're when you have this illness. I don't know why I keep saying it. When you're ill, they tend to treat you like a baby, and Chloe wasn't having that. She was like, yeah, I'm done. So she moved out into an apartment complex where she met Red. You see who's the love interest already. So Red Ford Morgan, Red for short, he's a handyman with tattoos and has a motorcycle. He's a redhead, guys. It's really weird. So his name is Redford and he has red hair. He's a ginger. Oh, nice ginger. And more sex appeal than a 10,000 Hollywood heartthrobs. Wow. Also, what made me really like Red, he's an artist. Yeah. Redford is an artist, and he's lost his passion because he was in a relationship that was not healthy. I don't want to go too much because I'll get too much spoilers. So Chloe, when she first saw him, she was immediately attracted to him, which made her danger level go off like the whole light. Nope, red alert, get away from this dude. So when she panics or when she's in a lot of pain, she snaps at people. Her family is used to it, but Red, not so much. So when she does it to him because she finds him attractive and she's stressed out about it, she's like, she always snaps. So he's attracted to her, but her mouth keeps him away because she's so mean to him. She's so mean. So he has this love pain thing about he wants to be around her, but being around her is where she like says mean things. And since he came out of a not nice relationship, but the attraction. So we all know, well, no, we all know, but we get to thinking that Red is the one who will help her with her list, and their animosity towards each other came to a standstill when Chloe climbed a tree to save a cat. That's how we know we love her forever and always, because the doctor said not to do stuff like that because of her, how much am I going to say her illness? Because of her illness, but she wanted to save the cat, and she did, and she got stuck in the tree. And who came to rescue her but Redford Morgan? Yes, Morgan. And he saw that, oh, she's not as mean as he thought she was. And she saw that he had a motorcycle. And one of the things on the list she wanted to do before she died was ride a motorcycle. So they get to talking, and he helped her with her list, and she was helping him build a website because he wants to start selling his art, which is a very personal, emotional thing. And I can't say more without giving away the whole book, but in doing this, it opened old wounds for Chloe and old wounds for Red, and of course the house is split apart, and they healed on their own. I love that it wasn't like, oh, she tamed the beast or he tamed the beast kind of story. They both realized that they have a problem and they fixed it on their own, and then they came together. I'll tell you that much because I already said it. But this love story between Chloe and Red, it was so beautiful, and it just felt like real people he was talking about. And that's what I'm saying. But I'm really liking this book. I gave it 4 stars because the writing coming on to the end was kind of for me, but the beginning, the build up, everything, beautiful. This lip is very good. So now we're going off to the second sister. I read the book out of order. I thought Danny's book was the third one and I read it last, but anyhow, this one, it's called Take a Hint, Danny Brown. And this was my least favorite out of the 3 books because I didn't like Danny that much. I understood her, but she was really annoying, and her level of delusion was real bad and it was really annoying at times. So so how it is, Danica Brown knows what she wants: professional success, academic renown, and occasionally role in the, you know what, screw Goodreads definition, that's on top. So Danica Brown knows what she wants. She is working really hard in her field. She works in a school, she's a teacher, and she works really hard in her field so she could be like the best of the best of the best, so everybody could recognize how good she is. She's super smart. She's like Sheldon Cooper kind smart, maybe more, because she has actual social communication skills. I don't even know what to call that because I don't have it. So Danica, she's like super smart and she's working on a thesis or something. She's working on something, a paper, something. Oh wait, she's working to go on a panel of intellectual minds where she could banter with other said intellectual minds, and one of her and the person she admires most in the world is going to be on the panel, and she's freaking out to like impress them. So she has a lot of stress on herself, like so much stress on herself, and she just wants it to be perfect because she's smarter, she's a perfectionist. It seemed to be something, like I say, all sisters, because we'll talk about Eve later. She's my favorite. So Danica wants everything, and the thing is, she realized with her job she gets stressed out too, and her best way of relieving stress is having a special friend where they could like mutually release that stress. But she doesn't want any romance, she doesn't want a relationship, she doesn't want any of those kind of things. She don't want it. She was like, hey, let's roll in the hay, and at the end of that, that's done. Okay, we'll be friends, we could go coffee, we can have friends, we can have fun, but anything more, don't come by me, I don't want it. Okay, so enter Zafar. Zafar. You know I like the character because I remember their names offhand. I don't remember names so good, but Zafar, I don't even know if I've seen it right. It's Zafir. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but this is Zafar. Zafar, me like him, me love, I love him. So Zafar is like a football or hockey, rugby. Ooh. So Zafar is an ex-rugby player that had a huge anxiety attack when he learned of his. Can I see it? Do they have it here? Okay, so they didn't bring this or not, so I'm not gonna say it. So Zafar had a nervous breakdown after something tragic happened to him, and he what happened after with the what do you call it, the paparazzi, with the media, how they spun it, how everything was portrayed, he couldn't handle it. He didn't like it. That caused him to have even worse anxiety, and he just shut down. He quit rugby. He was to work on himself first than, you know, going back into rugby, because he was one of the first Muslim rugby players, and that was like a big deal. So that was like an extra spin on the whole media thing, and it just got ugly, and he couldn't handle it, especially during the grief he was going through. So he just wants to fade into the background. He don't want any more media coverage as he can. So even though he quit rugby, it still has a special place in his heart. So he started a foundation to help teach children rugby, but also emotional intelligence as well. So it won't be the whole toxic, let's call them thing, toxic locker room things they have in football and stuff, or in sports in general. He wants them to be able to speak about the emotions and work through it, because that's what he did when he went through his bad thing. So the foundation isn't doing that well because he doesn't want to use his name. He doesn't want the media to come back at him again, but he does want it to succeed. So after a fire drill happened, Zafar rescued Danny from an elevator, and he carried her out in his arms. Which, even when I'm reading the book, I'm like, yeah, you didn't have to go that far, Zafar. You didn't have to do it. But he did, and people took pictures, and everybody thought there was a couple, and he was getting a lot of attention, and people was coming forward, like, hey, I heard you have a foundation. You want to come on my radio show so I could talk to you about it? And he was like, yeah. But he was like, ooh, I have to pretend. Like, people only giving me this attention because they think he and Danica are in a relationship. Now, he and Danica are good friends, okay? But he heard that Danica doesn't want a relationship, and he's a hopeless romantic. He read romance books. He's like, he believes in happily ever after. I'm like, where is this dude in real life? He's big. It's like, they keep describing him as being like a giant. He's like huge, with huggable arms, and he's a romantic. I'm like, is Zafar me? And the more I read the book, I'm like, Zafar is me. I am Zafar, Zafar is me. We are one. And a lot of things that he talk about anxiety are things that I experience, and I thought that everyone did, because it has this time where he and Danny were supposed to meet up for lunch, and she didn't show up, and he said, him being him, he immediately thought that she was kidnapped and murdered or something like that. And I'm like, isn't that what everybody thinks? If you and your friend or you and your family member make plans to meet up at a time and they ain't show up, don't you just immediately think, oh, somebody kidnapped them, or they were robbed, or they got in a car accident? Oh, does nobody else do that, or is it just me? Am I morbid? Is it me? Am I the drama? I can't be the drama. Maybe I am the drama. I need to check that out. Like, I know I have anxiety, but is it that bad? He takes meds for his, like, it makes me question stuff. So Danny, she wants to sleep with Zafar, but even after finding out that he likes romance books and that he's a hopeless romantic, she's like, he's the one to be a sex partner, and he does, even though he's extremely attracted to her. And of course, things got too real, and somebody ran for the hills, because it's expected. So that's as much as I'm saying. But this book is like, I don't like Danny. Even though I don't like her, the book is still good. I love Zafar. It's just beautiful. The reason why I don't like Danny is that her level of delusion is like really bad. It's like bad. She's like real. Her delusion was just too over the top for me. I was like, I know you're delusional, but you're too delusional. Okay? Okay. So now we're on to the third sister, which is Eve. This is my favorite book out of all three. This is my favorite. This is the one I identified with or connected with the most. And this is Act Your Age, Eve Brown. Keep forgetting where the camera is. So Eve Brown is a certified hot mess. At least that's what Goodreads said. She constantly gets into a hobby or I was gonna say religion, but no. Occupation. She does it and then she quits. And I relate to that way too much. But anyway, and the thing is because she's terrified of failing. So the reason is she just did her cousin or her friend's wedding, and after that she canceled. She closed off, or she shut down her wedding business, even though she did that one wedding. And it's because it's so good. If she does a next one, what if it doesn't hold up to her expectations or to the first thing? She said it's just safer or better to like just cancel the whole business and try to find something new. And this is something that she always does. Every time she gets into something, she does it well or good, and then she just quits it because what if it's not good or wrong the second time? So her parents got angry with her, especially since she's the baby. So she got a lot of free time but still have expectations on her, and her parents sat her down like she was 3 years old and told her that we're cutting you off of your trust fund. Oh yeah, these sisters are bloody rich. They all have trust funds. They are rich. Their parents are rich. Their family is rich. Rich. They don't have to work ever. But they do because they like it. Except Eve, because she doesn't know what to do. And then the things she does love, the things that means the most to her, she does not even want to try to make that work as a business, because if it doesn't work out, that's it. Then there will be no more joy in the things she takes joys in. Makes sense to me. So after her parents cut her off from the trust fund, she still has it. They just tell her she have to get a job and get herself together, because it's because of her parents' money she could be able to start up a business, do a job, quit the job, cancel the entire business. It's only because of them that she could do that. So they're like, stick with something. And I'm like, she has the means to try something. Why won't you let her? I'm like, let her find it. Gosh, much people wish they had that. But anyhow, so in her huff, in her hood, she left the house with nothing to her name. She just have a car, and she drove around mad. She's like, and as her driving around, she found this cute little inn where she said was looking for a cook. And she was like, okay, I don't care about this job, so I would just go do the job, and then I could prove to my parents that I have a job, and I could do stuff together, and so on, so on, so on forth. And the owner of the inn didn't like her, and she ran him over with her car. Do you see why I love her? She's my favorite. But her boss, I also love. His name is Jacob. And Jacob is autistic. And I'm just loving all these representations of different people with different mind waves. Is mind waves the right term? But mind waves. And he got run over by a car. I'm laughing because he's fine. Okay? The thing is, Jacob is in desperate need of having a cook, because his old one they won the lotto and they moved back to their home country so they could start a farm or something. And there's this huge gingerbread convention thing that's coming up that just could be huge for his inn, because it could bring in customers, or have his name, or have it be in people's name or something. I don't know. It's just important, and go help his business. And he needs a chef real bad, but because of his autism, he's not very good at being social. His best friend, he didn't even try looking for a best friend. His best friend just became his best friend. Because of perseverance, because he kept pestering him, and he was like, all right, fine, we're friends. I just love it. And he has no filter. Jacob has no filter. What he thinks is what he says. He doesn't filter to not hurt people's feelings. He tells you the truth, or what he thinks is the truth, and that's it. And I love that. I just love it. I just love it so much. So because he was run over by a car, he couldn't manage his inn. I don't know why I keep laughing, because he couldn't manage the inn. And his best friend has his own business, and he was helping him out by cooking in the meantime, but he can't do it because he has his own business to run. So Chloe said, okay, I'll stay around and help until Jacob is better, because it's the least she could do after she ran him over with her car. And he broke his arm. I think he splint his arm. I don't think it was totally broken, but he splint his arm. He had a concussion. She broke his glasses. I think his ribs. It was a lot of damage. Okay, it was a lot of damage. And he was loopy on drugs. So I'm still laughing about the car. And so she was running the inn while he was thing. And when he finally kind of come through a little, he realized that the person who the person who ran him over is also running his inn. So of course he's terrified, because what if she runs her car into his inn? I would have the same thing. I would have the same thing. Like, girl, okay. And of course they clash because she's too bright, she's too bubbly, she's too Chloe. Wait, no, that's Chloe. She's too Eve. And she's like, you're so mean, you're so this, you're so blah. And of course they were sexually attracted to each other. It was beautiful. The way it grew. There was a scene where he was in the same bed as her and they was watching TV, and he found one of her toys, and what happened after was just steamy beautiful. That's my favorite scene in the entire book. That, and she ran him over in the car. I read that over so much time because I still couldn't believe it. In the description of the book, they say she ran him over with a car, but I still couldn't believe it. She ran him over with a car. Okay, so because he couldn't do anything, because he was unable to, he sat in the kitchen with her as she cooked, and Eve, I don't know why I keep saying Chloe, and Eve realized, because she loves to cook, and the thing is, she's doing a job where she's doing something that she loves. So if she feels like that, she's going to be crushed. But she is slowly getting confident in cooking because she always has music in her ears, so it will calm her brain down. Because I was going to say something that I shouldn't say. It will be revealed later on in the book. That Eve noticed something about herself after being around Jacob. And I think it fits. I think it fits for her a lot. And it was just beautiful, especially how their relationship blossomed. He just couldn't understand why he always wanted to be around her but far away from her at the exact same time. And she was just Eve. She just goes with the flow and does what she wants because we love her. Can you tell me this is my favorite book? And I really like this book. So, and that's it. And they fall in love. But I won't tell you how. I won't tell you why. I won't even tell you what was the dispute that made them separate. Because that's something always happens. We need some conflict in the book. It can't be fluff all the time. I just read a book where it was just fluff all the time, and I just couldn't wait for the book to finish. I'm like, there's no adversary, there's no angst. I love angst. Oh, angst. I love angst. It's like the French fries of the book. The best part. So that's my synopsis. So overall, the entire series was just beautiful. The trilogy was just amazing. All three sisters were amazing. All their love interests, especially Zafar, if you're a real person, I'll marry you. And their love story was believable, because one thing I realized as I get old, one thing I realized as I got older, that a lot of books I liked, a lot of romance books I liked when I was younger, I reread them and realize that, yeah, this is problematic. It's problematic. So right now my Goodreads reviews are like me, like being mean, and it's only after I've done like the 6th book in a row I was like, this book was written badly, and I was like, am I mean? Am I mean? Oh, how I just read so much books that I'm just like, So anyhow, so I hope you guys give the Brown Sisters a try. You'll have like the Amazon links in the description below, and I hope you guys enjoy this video. And yeah, it felt good to talk about books, even though I really wanted to spoil it and like tell you guys every single thing, because that'd be way more fun. But I realized that not everybody wants spoilers. I like spoilers, don't worry, you can give me spoilers. That actually make me want to read the book. So I don't think I'm doing art this month except for Patreon. I've already done the sketch for Patreon, and I'm just trying to recharge because seriously, OC Toba took it out of me. Took it out of me. So I need to like shut up now. And oh, I would like to thank my patrons. I do have my book with me, so I'll put them up here. Thank you, patrons so much for your support. I hope you like this video, and I'll be talking about Squid Games in our Patreon only exclusive video. So anyhow, love you. Bye. Mwah. Oh, so red. Bye.